It's also an attraction. 1 minute. Are we on air?
Welcome to Tormore Reserve for the Deakin University Match of the Round Senior Women's with Boronia taking on Vermont in the Premier Division clash, round 10 of the Deakin University Senior Women's season. I'm Ryan Long, media manager with the EFNL, and at the moment we've got Oscar on his way, but also joined by Kate Green and Chris Cordis, who will be calling all the action today. Thank you for coming down to Tormore, Chris. First time down here for a women's game?
Yeah, first time down here for a women's game. We were here a few times last season throughout the finals and for a couple men's matches, but first time I've been here since they knocked down the pavilion, so that was something a bit new. But yeah, no, excited to see the game today. Yeah,
absolutely, and a lot to get to. We'll have the two coaches in just a moment, but before we do that, just some important news that has come out, been released by the Basin Football Netball Club today, that unfortunately during the week Talia Briggs has unexpectedly passed away. I'm just going to read the statement that the Basin have put out on their Facebook page today. So the Basin, it's with heavy hearts that we inform members, supporters and community of the sudden and unexpected passing of one of our players, Talia Briggs, earlier in the week. Talia joined the Basin at the beginning of 2025 and immediately became a popular member of the playing group, playing 7 of the 8 possible games this season, including in both wins against the Upper Ferntree Gully Football Club and the Templestowe Football Club. The news has come as a shock to all involved, and as a result, both women's fixtures today against South Belgrave and Norwood have been cancelled. Thank you to Dean O'Neill and the Eastern Football Netball League for accommodating this at short notice. We are arranging external support services for anyone within our community should you wish to access them. And as a mark of respect, all participating teams this weekend donning the red and green will represent Talia by wearing black armbands in today's clashes. Our hearts go out to Talia's parents, Michael and Tracy, friends and family, and all that knew her during this incredible, difficult time. Rest peacefully, Talia. That was the Basin statement that went out this morning, and from everyone us involved in here within the EFNL, we do send our condolences. It is quite upsetting news, and we do. Our hearts certainly do go out to Talia's family, friends, everyone involved at the Basin Football Netball Club. We are thinking about you at this very difficult time, and it's I've just had a look through some of the comments on there, and a lot of clubs getting around the Basin as well in such a difficult time. So if you are to grounds and see the black armbands today, particularly at Tormore Reserve and the Basin games, that is what that is for. So our hearts do go out to Talia and her family. I think we are going to be joined by Chris Clark, the senior coach of the Vermont Football Club, in just a moment, Chris.
Yeah, we will be, and we'll hear from both coaches obviously today before the game in our pre-game setup, and then obviously we'll bring you the call from about 10:40, hopefully, given that this reserves game is running on time, and we'll have scores from around the ground fields. We are joined by Vermont Senior Women's head coach Chris Clark. Chris, welcome. How are you today?
Good, thanks, boys. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you for joining us, and to crack on into business today, obviously a big match ahead in the course of the season in the hunt for finals. How are you looking at today?
Well, I mean, probably for us, unfortunately, the finals race is over. Obviously, it isn't for Boronia, so they've still got plenty of skin in the game there. Our reserves program's still in the hunt for finals. So, yeah, it's just we want to play our brand of football, and I think that's for us. We've got to keep focusing for the rest of the season that a win isn't about a win on the scoreboard, but more about a win about playing our brand.
Yeah, excellent. And going to today, and you talk about playing your brand and taking the right steps forward. What's one key to doing that today?
So in the last few weeks, we've ended up being too clustered inside our forward line. So we've just got to make sure we keep that forward line open, create that hot spot, that drop zone for our forwards to run into. The reserves girls have been doing it well today, and hopefully the senior girls can back it up and do the same thing.
How have you seen the season? Obviously, the record, I think, doesn't speak to how you've been playing, because a lot of these games against the top sides, you've been really competitive, and it's potentially just a quarter where, last week the Devils jumped you early, but after that it seemed like an even game. So it does seem like you're a lot closer than what the ladder might suggest.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we've been absolutely in every game, be it for one quarter. So last week the Devs got out to a 30-point lead at quarter time and ended up rolling us by 36. Week one, I think South Croydon got us by 24 in the first quarter, ended up beating us by 20. So the pattern's been that if we can win the first quarter, we can win the game. We looked at some numbers just this week, and we're saying that when we lose the first quarter, so as the season as an average goes, we lose the first quarters by 9.5 points, and we ended up by losing the games by 9.7 points. So really it's our first quarters that seem to be making the difference for us. So we're hoping we can get a fast start out there today and play an open brand of footy.
And who are we looking to keep an eye on today? A lot of stars on that line. We've talked about Patterson a bit in the last couple of weeks, and obviously her coming into the lineup. But who has really impressed you this season so far in the senior side? Yeah,
definitely Molly Pato is an absolute gun. She's a great kid to coach, always wanting feedback on how she can improve. We're hoping to see Sarah Salpietro is going to come into the senior side this week, play a really important role in the midfield, along with MJ, Abby Spencer providing some run through the middle, as well as number 34 Sesh Jess Elder, a thumping left foot kick. So there's plenty of stars, but I think really the strength of this group is that there's no real standouts. There's just lots of depth, and so we just want to get that depth all playing together.
And obviously, you mentioned the second side up and running this season, and at the moment they're 85-0 against Boronia in this Division 4 clash. How big has that been for the club to get that second team back up and running and playing so well too? I think they're either first or second on the ladder in Division 4. They've come up from Div 5 starting there, so that must be a massive get for the club to get those two teams again.
Yeah, absolutely. So to be a successful senior club, you really need to have a successful program, and part of being a successful program is two teams. The reserves girls have lots of new faces, but lots of girls that are playing together really, really well. So they've bonded as a new group. Watching them play each week is fantastic, and they give plenty of inspiration for the rest of the team. But certainly the second side gives you the opportunity to have someone they're a bit out of form, to run them back through the reserves, get a couple of weeks into them, and then watch them improve as they come back into the senior side. So something we'll probably be knowing, had we known that as well as we do now, we'd used it a little bit more to our advantage. But we've got a couple in this week from the reserves program, have been amongst their best, so we're hoping they come and play the same brand of footy for us today.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us. I'm sure it's a busy morning ahead, so we'll let you get back to it. But we appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck for today.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate what you do.
Thanks, Chris.
As we heard from head coach of the Vermont senior women's side there, Chris Clark, and we've got head coach of the Boronia senior women's side, Shan Bunker, who's going to join us shortly as we say goodbye to media manager Ryan Long for now. If you like the way he sounds on the mic, then tune in later on today for pre-game and for the call in our men's match of the round. But we do have Sean with us today. Sean, welcome, and welcome back to EFNL match of the round. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Very well. Very excited to kick things off.
Brilliant, and obviously it's a big game today. Obviously your side sitting in fifth. A win would go a long way in pushing for finals. How has your preparation been for today?
Yeah, obviously it is a big game for us and the standings and everything. But I think just like any week, really keen to get out there and show what we can do. And I think Vermont, we sort of respect them really highly. We're probably shocked they're not further up the ladder and haven't won more games, because just the way they play is impressive, and they've got a good list. So, certainly expecting a really tough game today. And we've identified a few things and a bit of a plan on how we want to attack the day.
Excellent, and obviously we saw you in round 2 against South Croydon when you got up on that day. Since then, has anything changed in the side, or how has your team progressed throughout the season?
Yeah, we've probably struggled with a bit of continuity of players. So I think, back in round 2, almost like our performance of the year, that was a special day. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of injuries since then. So I think we've got, 4 or 5 sort of season-ending injuries, knees and things like that, broken fingers and bones. But it's been a lot of different players come through the team, and we've certainly been tested for our depth. And I guess where we're at now is probably like any team in the middle of the year. You've got players in Europe, you've got injuries, unavailability and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think for us it's just been, exposing new players each week and trying to find some continuity, which in the last couple of weeks it's settled down really nicely, which has been great, and I think they've been playing, good footy.
Where do you think the game could be won or lost today? What's the most important part of the pitch today for you guys?
I think there's a bit of a battle in the mid there that we think we can get on top on, but I think the biggest thing might be around transition. So, on offense, I think they like to try and explode pretty quickly. So if we can seal off, really quickly and well, I think that's important. We also think that when we win the footy that, we've got an opportunity to open them up if we go pretty quickly. So I think it's just going to be, each team and how well they can obviously transition into a different mode of the game, and I think that'll have a big impact on the game.
Is there any players that have stood out at training? Anyone we should look out for today?
I think probably coming off last week, maybe Angie Torcasio coming back from Box Hill. She was fantastic playing through the mids, good around the stoppage, but she's got beautiful skills, really good decision maker, just really evasive in tight. So she'd be the one I'd say, off last week's performance that I'd expect to have a big say in this game.
Yeah, awesome.
Excellent. And obviously you sit 5th at the moment, just 1 win out of the top 4 and with quite a considerably better percentage than the 2 teams above you. How far does a win today go to really putting you in the driver's seat to making sure that you're there at the pointy end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's huge for us. Like, it probably only gets harder as you go each week. Every team's pretty good. South Belgrave, Eastern Devils, Park Orchards. There's no easy games really there. So obviously from the points perspective, extremely important. But I just think from a belief perspective as well, it's hugely important that if you've been working really hard at the track, and if you can get the result on game day, I think it just helps increase everyone's belief of where we can go. Obviously puts us back into 4th spot. We can just try and hold on each week.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Sean. I'm sure it's a busy morning ahead, so we appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck for today.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. So you heard there from head coach of the senior women's side at Boronia, Shan Bunker, who we heard from in round 2 as well, as they got over the top of South Croydon. So we're joined now by Oscar Ludke, who's made his way in. Oscar, how are we feeling today ahead of this one?
Yeah, good. I had a punctured tyre on the way, so had to check that out. But got here eventually. So
that's good. Well, we appreciate you still getting in despite that. And Kate Green's got the headset on. Kate, you'll be doing the rounds today as always.
Yeah, and I've got to say I've already been out on the ground and it's looking good. Slightly damp, but otherwise very good playing surface. A little bit of a shock to get here to see the almost complete deconstruction of Boronia's club rooms. So considering you haven't been here since last year.
Yeah, and that was certainly a surprise, and they did have, it was quite a nice setup, but we're out here with the marquee pitch side, so we can't really complain. Of course, Boronia always doing a great job of hosting us, whether we're here for the men's or women's competitions. Is just ahead of us, the game winding down. We heard before, but Boronia yet to score. Vermont 11-19, 85. So commanding winners. We're ticking into the final minutes of that one, I believe, in a Div 4 matchup there. But going into this one ahead of us, our tips for today. Kate, I'll let you kick us off as the most knowledgeable of all of us here. What's your tip for today? How do you see this one going?
Not the most knowledgeable. I tip Boronia just based on the fact that, they were dragon killer and took out South Croydon round 2. And I think that they've really kept themselves in touch with that top 4. And I definitely think we can't underestimate them because, anything can happen between now and finals time, and we all know that with footy, so I went Boronia.
Oscar, what have you gone for?
Yeah, I agree with Kate. I think they look good, especially to beat a side as good as South Croydon. They've been strong this year, so I'll have to go with Boronia as well.
Well, I've gone Boronia as well, so it's a clean slate, which means
2 weeks
Vermont probably get on top of this one. There are, like we heard, both sides, obviously, with a few outs, Vermont losing a few VFLW players. But, Kate, I want to ask you, a big one is, obviously, when we were watching Boronia in round 2 against South Croydon, Rachel Quirk was absolutely dominant in that one. And she's not in the side today. I'm not sure if that's through other commitments or maybe travel or injuries or whatever it might be. But how big of a loss is that? Because when we saw them last, she was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, this is the beauty about this Boronia senior women's side. Over the years that, we've been doing, women's match of the round, Boronia have got depth. They've got not just one or two talents that they go to. They've got talent right across the board. They've got people that step in when those other people aren't available. For example, you've got Delta Greenhull, number 19. She's coming back from injury. Previous years, she's been an absolute legend. She just goes. She's the ever-ready bunny on the field. She just goes and goes and goes. Boronia picked her up from, I think it was I think it was Bendigo or Ballarat, and she just slotted into the team beautifully. There's other standouts. You've got like first-year player Vikoff Clara. She's been an absolute legend. So that's the beauty about the Boronia side. They've not just got a couple of people that are the go-to people to set up and be the game changers. They've got a team that they know that they can rely on when those major game changers are out. They've got the talent. They've got the depth there.
Well, it's interesting you say that they've got that kind of all-in approach, because on the other side of the ball game today is Vermont, who have maybe been lacking that at times, because see Molly Patterson 8 times in best in 9 games, who's been just making a charge throughout the season. Now he's actually league leading in that facet of the stats, so she's been absolutely brilliant. But the next best is Bianca Clark with 4 times, and you just feel like at times Vermont, we heard that okay, their finals push is probably over at this stage, and they may not deserve the 2-7 record, but you just feel like going forward they maybe need to focus on getting some more bodies around Patterson and getting some more contributors who can help take the load off her, because to have it all rest on one player who is an excellent player at that, but that's not really a formula for a winning brand of footy going forward.
Well, it doesn't help them when they've got people on their list that are, in the VFLW, and when those players aren't available, which every team knows when they have those players that their availability is subject to the VFLW. It does bite, but I wouldn't underestimate Vermont. They're tenacious. They're hungry. They want this. They're not going to give up until the very last game. And as we all know in football, things can change.
Yep.
You can be outside. You can be sitting at number 5, and then all of a sudden some other team that's in that top 4 just has a shocker finals run, and then you're in there. So that's the beauty of footy. You can never guarantee, I guess, unless you're 1 or 2, that things will change.
That's exactly right. And as we have full time in the fixture in front of us here, it's Vermont by 91 points in a game which Boronia failed to score, and we believe that's a Division 4 result. As we'll have more results for you around the grounds as we kick on to this one. But Kate, we'll let you go. I'm sure you'll be on the boundary parading about getting interviews, getting all the inside scoops for us today, as you do so brilliantly as always.
Okay. I just want to say Boronia's, got number 38, Torcasio, Angelina back here. She's available and she's playing, and she's from the Box Hill Hawks, so it's going to be a good game. But as I said, this is going to be a good game.
Excellent. So we'll let you go, Kate. Thank you for that. As we let you go, we'll run through, I guess you could call it the form guides for these two sides as they're just getting ready to take the field. As obviously last time these two sides faced off was in round 3 at Vermont's home ground. That was Vermont 7-13-55. Falling to Boronia 11-5-71 in a game in which the Hawks kicked 33-14 in the second half, taking over that one. And Abby Spencer and Kelsey Turns got best on votes for that game. And Kelsey Turns had the 5 goals to go along there, as obviously she's not available today, we believe, through VFLW
Boundary
responsibilities. Yes, Kate?
How do we get in the ground?
As Kate's got to go hunt down an entrance. Anyway, the last 3 games for Boronia, they got over the top of the basin 91-0 in round 7 in a game where Calla Schmidley kicked 6. The next week against the White Horse Pioneers, they got up by a point, 10-8-68, defeated by 10-9, 69 away from home. They started slow but kicked the winner with 2:37 left on the clock. And then last week, fell short to South Croydon in the game where Boronia scored 2-6-18. South Croydon put up 5-5-35. Outscored 4-27 in the second half there were Boronia, which meant that they fell short. But tracking over to Vermont as we wait for the teams to get through their final preparations. So they sit at 6th on the ladder, as opposed to, I didn't mention before, but Boronia ahead of us are 5th, like we heard in the pre-game, just a win out of the top 4, I believe, or the top 5. No, the top 4 win out of. And with much better percentage than the two sides above them, I must say. But anyway, enough of that. Vermont sitting 6th on the season, 2-7 record. They, in round 7, fell to South Belgrave 6-5, 41-2, 3-5, 23. They trailed at all breaks and were goalless in the first quarter. And then in round 8, South Croydon 5-7, 37 defeated Vermont 2-3, 15, in which Vermont were goalless at half-time. And then in round 9, Vermont 4-6, 30 defeated by 10-6, 66 the Eastern Devils at home. So scoreless in the first quarter in that one. So they've been slow starters throughout this season, and as we heard in the pre-game interview from head coach Chris Clark, that has been an issue, and that's something that they're looking to rectify going forward, because we heard the key to them winning games is, of course, trying to win the first quarter. So we're just getting our final preparations done, our final warm-ups done here. Looking through the EFNL record, which you can find on the EFNL website. Looking at the senior women's tips, it is a clean sweep for Boronia here. All 4 tipping members, of course. You heard from we heard Ryan long before he's tipped Boronia. Us here, even myself and Kate and the Black Tenant, who's going to be around the EFNL somewhere. He's tipped Boronia as well, so you can catch up with that on the EFNL website for your match day record. That's got a lot of our tips for the women's games and the men's games. We thank you for joining us here ahead of the opening bounce as the players have just done the toss here at Tormore Reserve on our YouTube streams. Of course, if you've got nothing to do on this Saturday, weather's still quite nice, to be fair. It's not exactly sunny, but it's far from the coldest it's been in the last few weeks. So please come on down to Tormore Reserve. We'll have the opening bounce in just a second. Later on, we'll be down at HE Park for Heathmont taking on Croydon in the Eastland men's match of the round broadcast. That will kick off at 1:15 in the pre-game coverage, and then at 2:20 we'll have the opening bounce. That'll be on Facebook, YouTube, streams, and Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. Kate, do you have something for us?
I was just going to say, with the Heathmont Croydon one, which way are you going?
I tipped, bear with me, Kate, I've gone to tip Croydon there. So, true to form, I think I'm the only one that's tipped Croydon.
I think I might have tipped Croydon as well. Oscar, what do you think? Heathmont versus Croydon?
Croydon. I've got to go Croydon.
So it's us 3 that have tipped Croydon, and everyone else all across the 8-person tipping competition has gone Heathmont. So there's a bit more on the line there.
You know, love love all the teams, but inconsistency is the bite for me.
It's a very, very interesting game, that one, because there's a team in Croydon who are so heavily defensive and defensively dominant in the league, and it's a team against Heathmont who were all scratching our heads early on the season thinking, how on earth are they not doing better? And now they're starting to string some wins together. Is Oscar, final thoughts before this one?
Yeah, this is going to be a really important game, especially for Vermont today. They're going to want to try and get the win. They're both next to each other on the ladder, but Vermont, they've got the Basin and they've got South Belgrave the next couple of weeks, so a tough draw for them because they're sitting 1st and 3rd on the ladder with South Belgrave at the top, so they've got a difficult run, so they definitely going to want to get the win here today, same as Boronia.
Exactly right, and obviously the other games across the senior women's Premier Division competition today, Eastern Devils host South Croydon and Whitehorse Pioneers host Park Orchards. They're both starting now. Hopefully they have scores for you around the grounds there. South Belgrave against the Basin has been postponed for the reasons that we heard in the pre-game before from media manager Ryan Long. So we're just about ready to get started here at Tormore Reserve as Boronia host Vermont. Will be Oscar Ludke to get us home.
And we're ready to go. The ball up from the umpire. Tap down. Trying to move this forward now, Boronia. Looking to head inside, 50 early, and intercepted there. So Vermont able to get away with it on this occasion. Ball coming out on the wing here. Dispossessed of the footy. Couldn't quite get it to the boot. Ball comes to ground. Pack forms, able to get it out now. The handball from Burkett. Ball up in the air. Play on called by the umpire. Kick comes towards the wing and a good strong mark taken there by Schmidley. And taking her time to assess the options. Looks up, goes to the pack. Couldn't quite take the mark, ball was smothered. Trying to wheel around now is Phillips. Gets the handball out. And tackled now is Patterson. So we'll have a ball up here from the umpire on centre wing. Back down the ground. Trying to get away with it there once again was Patterson, but she's wrapped up once again, so we'll have another ball up here. Able to get the tap down. Breaking through, tripping over as she's tackled, able to get the handball away to Smith. And there's a whistle there. And it will go the way of Boronia, I think, here. So it will be in the direction of Vikov as she looks to the top of the square. Comes off hands, rolling, trying to get it onto the boot. And in the end, wrapped up directly in front of goals. So big opportunity here for Boronia to maybe grab the first. Grabs it out, tries to get to boot. I think it's there. It is. So the first goal for Boronia.
That was Perrott.
And a great goal there to start us off. Chris Cordes.
That's exactly right. And Alicia Perrott there just grabbing it out of the ruck, getting it to boot quicker than anyone else could react to and gets the goal from inside the goal square. She was probably a bit frustrated with herself for missing the kick off the ground before to get a goal. But a good start from Boronia. 1-6 plays Vermont yet to score. And it's one of the magnets we've seen moved around. Cutler Schmidley starting behind the footy. Obviously, we've 11 goals in the season and 6 times in best. She's obviously an influential player, but we'll keep an eye on her because she's quite a contributor when it comes to getting on the score sheet. As the ruck work is won by Cleo Smith, and they're looking to bring it out now. Boronia, as the footy's on the ground, no real winner of it. Smith's on hands and knees trying to bring it out. It's off the boot of a Vermont player in pursuit of it. Was Torcasio. She won't get there. They'll come to a teammate, I believe, in Paige Dean. Torcasio now with the footy in hand, and he's wrapped up by an opponent in Vermont. It was, as we are waiting for another ball up in the middle. And Claire Smith will win that ruck work again. So Boronia dominant in the ruck, as we've seen so many times this season. They're winning the battle early on as they're looking to bring it out. And now Coney was applying pressure, but the Eagles still get the kick away. Now a squib kick's going to fall to Matilda Burkett. She wheels onto the right boot, gets it into a bit of space. Paige Dean's in pursuit with a footy sit up for her. Not quite. She has to go to ground to get it. Bianca Clark's around there applying pressure for Vermont. And we'll have a ball up, true centre wing on the far side of Tormore Reserve here, as they're just waiting for play to get restarted. And we're away now, and this time it's Ackland coming over the top of the right contest with a big right hand, and it's fallen to Johns, Madeline Johns that is, who gets the footy forward. And Vermont just getting it forward inch by inch here, taking a bit of territory with each kick, as now Freya Johns has the footy, gets a handball out, only into the hands of Cutler Schmidley with the intercept possession, so she goes short with a handball. Now Boronia with a chance to assess their options, looking to use the corridor again, but the kick's cut off by the Eagles. So Vermont with a chance to go inside forward 50 here, and with their first time, the kick doesn't come off the boot the right way, and it's a well-taken intercept mark from the Hawks. So the defence stands strong. It was Cleo Smith with a mark there as they look down the far side wing. It's over the head of Clark for the Eagles, as now Vermont just getting it forward. It's a bit of a scrappy battle at the moment on the far side here, but Vermont are up for it at the moment as Madeline Johns gets it onto the boot. Her kick just goes high and not very far, so it falls in to the hands of Angelina Torcasio, who's been lent here to Boronia this week from the Box Hill Hawks VFLW listers. The kick falls short. Bianca Clark's going to be around it. Apologies, it was Ashley Ackland there, and appeals for a free kick, but Coney's going to burst away with the footy. She gets it onto the right boot. There's a Vermont player leading up and a well-taken intercept mark. So defence is standing strong so far. Early on in this encounter here is, that was number 42 in Sunday Dodgerell, just getting it in the corridors a good contest for the mark as Paige Dean looks to bring it out. Looked to shrug a tackle, but bit off more than she could chew. So it's a free kick going the way of Vermont's Abby Spencer. She was voted best on for her side last time these two teams met. As the kick goes down the wing, looking to spoil Schmidley. Didn't quite get as much of it as she would have liked. Now bringing it out of the Hawks. Kick through the middle to Coney, who takes a mark. It's had a bit of the footy so far. She just looks to take distance with the kick. The Tiger was Morrill. Couldn't quite take it, but Morrill again under the footy. Doing work, getting it on the right boot, just getting a bit of a squib kick forward. Now the handball over the top goes to Vickoff, who's in behind. Can chip it over the top to Jenna Bastian. She can walk in to an open goal and kick the second as easy as you like.
Too easy.
She won't get much better looks this season at a goal. And it's Jenna Bassi, I believe, who's kicked her 10th for the season, gets her into double digits. And the brilliant bit of work there. And you have to give props as well to Clara Vickoff, who in her first season of footy did brilliantly there to get the ball over the top.
Huge start for Boronia as well, the first two.
It
Putting
is.
Vermont on the back foot early.
That's exactly right. So Jenna Bass there with her 10th goal of the season.
Boundary.
And that puts her to second to highest on her team. Kate Green on the boundary line.
Like we discussed in pre-game, you know, Boronia has so many players they can go to that step up.
As Oscar takes away here is where we restart play.
So able to get the kick forward. Vermont on the back foot early. Can they open up a scoring opportunity here as the ball is now put inside 50. Couldn't quite grab it. Ball falls to the back. Sorry, one behind to them. 2 goals Boronia so far. Bring the ball back into play is Wellington for Boronia. Trying to find Drill, so. And called for a 25-metre penalty, so. Giving away a bit of territory there, Vermont. Looking to send this short, finds a target. Boronia doing well so far. Tried to find Phillips with the kick. Now it's picked up by Smith, who puts it into the middle of the ground. Chasing it there for Boronia's Dean. Too many Vermont players around the footy as they're able to get it forward in the direction of Chamberlain. And now she wraps up Cuffle, so we'll have a stoppage here on the outer side of the ground here. Rocks go at it. Just slapped on the boot forward by Smith in the direction of Greenhall. And ball in the end will be wrapped up, so we'll have another stoppage on the outer side. Able to get the tap down was Ackland. Vermont able to get the ball moving forward now. Trying to pick that up was Freeman. And now wrapped up here, so we'll have another stoppage on this outer side here as the ball's put back into play. Tried to get it onto the boot, did Spencer. Ball comes back to ground. And ball smothered as Vermont trying to work this ball forward, but Boronia's defence holding up well, and that's a good example of that again.
Boundary.
Kate Green, boundary side.
Smedley in the back. She's leading the back defence for Boronia beautifully so far.
Another good mark from her there. Again in defence as she sent this ball up to the wing, and now jostling for possession as Vermont try and send this one forward. Maybe a chance to get a run going now. Steps around, puts the kick in the direction of Chamberlain. She can't quite grab it though, and now Boronia able to send this through the middle of the ground and escape. And trying to get the footy out as she's wrapped up. Running away now through the middle of the ground here. Sending it forward for Vermont. Freeman, 2-on-1. Schmidley wraps her up.
Slove ball up there as Madison Freeman was wrapped up in the tackle, and just on the wing here, just outside the forward 50 of Vermont. They're looking to get a bit of territory and get their first major on the board, as it's a tackle there laid by Lily Grace Morrow, but she's given away the free kick for holding. So it's gone to Madeline Johns, who looks to take territory with the kick. Schmidley was out the back as a spare and takes a brilliant intercept mark there. So we can see why she's been in the best on votes 5 times already this season, as the ball spills loose from Paige Dean as she steps off to the right boot, does well and finds a teammate. So well recovered there from Paige Dean. As Boronia have possession now on the far side wing, and they'll look to go forward through Steph Phillips, who looks further down the wing around the footies. Dean once more, but reeling away with it was Jess Elder of the Vermont Eagles, and she shows a bit of speed, gets it onto the left boot, sends it in forward. It's a 1v1 contest there, off hands. Boronia looking to bring it out, chased down brilliantly in the tackle, as it was Alexandra Kuffel who just thought she was free but wasn't in fact. And it's Vermont now able to get a shot on goal with Annie Chamberlain. Never gave up on the play, and it was a brilliant chase down there from the number 39 in purple. So it's Chamberlain now. Will be kicking from around 40 metres out. Not an easy angle, but it will favour a right footer as she walks in, and the kick is on its way. It's got good distance, and it's touched on the late off the post. So the call is off the post. It looked like a goal from here, obviously looked like a goal from ground really level, as there were a few cheers going out, but probably missed by the finest of margins, as the call is it hit the post. So it's down. Yes, it is down as a behind now. So 2 goals flat, 12 plays, no goals, 2-2, as it's Boronia now with a 10-point lead, as Emily Wellington will bring the ball back into play and just looks down the far side wing. It was off the hands of Lily Grace Morrell, and now Vermont looking to get it back inside forward 50, and the ball won't bounce kindly, and it will be rushed over the line for a behind. So Emily Wellington around the footy again. She'll have the ball back in her hands, but this time we'll just hand it off to Cadla Schmidley to bring it back into play.
Boundary.
Let's go boundary side to Kate Green.
Vermont's doing a great job with their forwards keeping the ball in their forward 50. They're not letting Boronia walk all over them. They're just, really fighting for it.
That's exactly right, Kate, as they're doing a great job of dominating territory so far. As the mark there taken by Delta Greenhow, who returned from injury recently, as now it's in the hands of Steps Phillips, who looks to go forward, looks for Paige Dean on the far side. Dean gets a handball out to a teammate, looking to go forward now in the form of Lily Grace Morrell, who's been around the footy quite a bit recently, but her kick will fall into the waiting hands of an opponent. And it's a well-taken intercept mark. So now Vermont look to repel and take territory of their own. It was over the head of Bianca Clark, who flew for it, but they're now working the far side well here. The ball bounce over Cadla Schmidley. Maybe it will sit up for Vermont. It will. There's a 2v1 inside forward 50. The lead up was hit, and was hit brilliantly, as a mark's taken by Chelsea Pay, who plays on, has a teammate in the goal square and finds her. So Madison Clark now will be kicking a fairly straightforward kick just from the top of the square. Walters in, wastes no time, kicks the goal. So a brilliant bit of play from Vermont there. They got lucky with a bounce, but did what they had to do. And Madison Clark gets their first of the day on the board. So the scoreboard reads Boronia 2-12, Vermont 1-3-9, as the lead is cut down to 3 points.
Brilliant stuff there to be able to look up and lower the eyes and find a target there in Clark.
Boundary. Vermont really needed that. They needed that reward for all that effort they'd done earlier in their game.
Back underway here as the ball rolling in the middle of the ground and pushed into the ground, able to get a tap, and now wrapped up in a pack is Phillips. So ball up here in the middle of the ground. Tries to get the ball out in the direction of McMillan, but she can't quite grab it. Schmidley running away with it, chucks it on the left. Ball rolling up towards Perrott. and we'll have a ball up from the umpire here. Directly on centre wing. Able to get a good tap down.
Thank you.
And now, ball comes out the back of the pack. Running away with it was Coney. Put it to the middle of the ground, it's intercepted. And now, Vermont looking to send it forward. A good kick from Patterson. Coney once again ran away with it, able to get the kick off as she was being tackled and finds a target. So Boronia escape once again, and it's that back line that's working so hard, led by Coney. Kick comes up in the direction of Phillips. And in the end, she's tackled. So once again, another stoppage on this outer side here. Boronia looking to go forward again. It'll be Perrott. And how about the handball back and forth? Able to break away from the tackle, sends it forward, and waiting there for Vermont. And able to send this up now in the direction of Kasari. And now, once again, another stoppage.
Boundary.
Kate Green, boundary side.
I've got to say, number 16, Curfy, for Vermont down the back in their defence is doing a great job shutting off Boronia, getting the ball into their forward.
Good stuff there. Able to get it onto the boot. Did Smith, and now wrapped up in a tackle. So, at the moment, with 2 minutes and 12 left on the clock, it's Boronia 2 straight, 12 to Boronia 139 here. Vermont 139, sorry, Boronia leading in this first quarter.
Just an early score from Premier Division. Park Orchards lead Whitehorse 14-1 away from home, and in Division 1 East Ringwood 6 hosts Knox 8.
Breaking away from the tackle was Johns, and able to find a target. Looks ahead, trying to get this footy inside. Forward 50 now, Vermont, as they trail with 1 minute and 30 left in the first term. Possibly a chance here. Ball smothered, comes to ground, wrapped up in a tackle, players fall over the top, and a huge run-down tackle there. Play on calls the umpire. And now Boronia trying to escape, gets the handball out to Cuffle, and now whacked on the boot. So they send it up now towards this outer side, and it's intercepted for Vermont, so they can maybe get another shot at going forward. Under 1 minute left here, 50 seconds on the clock. And holding, so free kick will go the way of Vermont. So maybe an opportunity for them to score. And a great kick.
Very good kick. Madison Clark for a second.
So 2 for Madison Clark in the first quarter. And Vermont able to bite back before quarter time. So great stuff from them.
Boundary.
Kate Green, boundary side.
I've got to say, Boronia had control in that first maybe 2 to 3 minutes of this first quarter, and the rest of the quarter, the last 17 minutes, has been all Vermont getting it down their end and working hard to achieve what they've done.
Well, we mentioned that they've been dominating territory, so they definitely deserve the lead at this stage, and it's massive in the fact that when they win first quarters, they are much better in the driver's seat for winning the game. As there's a quarter time siren here at Tormore Reserve. It's Boronia 2-12, trailing now to Vermont 2-3-15. It's a 3-point lead for the Eagles away from home, as we have goal kickers for today. So far for Boronia, singles to Jenna Bassi and Alicia Perrott, and then for Vermont, the 2-2 Madison Clark. Is that late goal adds a lot of interest in this encounter, as what we thought might have been a straightforward Boronia win now throws a spanner in the works, as we heard that when Vermont win the first quarter, they are much, much more likely to win their games. As another score as we go around the grounds quickly from Division 2. Berwick are still looking for their first win of the season, and it will not be coming this week, as third quarter score reads 58-0 to Moral Bark In Division 3, Ferntree Gully 14 lead Coldstream 6. North Ringwood Red are over South Croydon Red by a point. And then we have some later kickoffs across that division. In Division 4, we have a full-time result. Oh, no, well, a 10:40 a.m. start, but someone must have clicked end game accidentally out at Fair Park, but it's Wanturna South 5-1-31 over the host Fair Park yet to score, as we won't have any more results from that game as someone's clicked full-time by accident, but that's okay, and no scores listened from Division 5 just yet. So we will go to a quick break. When we return, we will have Kate Green on the boundary line with our coaches from both sides doing some quick interviews, and we'll return with all the action here from Tormore Reserve and around the grounds.
This is the first time we've had a look at Vermont for this season.
You're right, that Kirby's been quite good.
Kirby.
She was the one taking all those intercept marks.
Yeah, she's been brilliant down
Yeah.
back. But the biggest thing is, it's been Smidley down back for Boronia and Curfew down back for Vermont.
She's kicked 11 goals. I mean, she kicked 6 against the Deakin, but still. You know?
I think she's one of the players that they've got that is versatile. Like
Yeah, I was about to
she
say, unless
plays
they just
every
go with
position.
yeah.
To have 11 goals, she has to be one of their versatile ones. But Dean so Tocassio's been quiet. So far. Doddle's been a bit in it. So's Chamberlain. So's Friesman. Particularly in the contest, like he hasn't been up Bianca. Not yet to be able to take a few clean marks, but I mean, otherwise. Smithy, yeah, I know. And she's playing back yeah. That's what we were just saying. I think she's one of those players that.
Is this a better perch?
Pop her in there anyway.
Is this a better perch? It looks awesome up here on the back of the ute.
I am so glad to be, especially here, because there's been so many times where I've had to film from the ground and like
That hump.
from the ground, you get to the other side of the field and half of something.
Oh yeah, you can't see it. It's alright. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So glad to be here.
Got some elevation. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, it's good that we've got Beastie back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just with Boronia's, keep the tissues you'll need.
Thank you.
You know I've always got you covered.
I do. I always stock my backpack up with tissues before I leave home. Then I get here and there's more tissues. So my backpack's all tissues in this stuff. I won't complain though.
Okay.
Got 2 packets at home.
You'll need them. Just with Greenhole, Delta number 19.
Who's
This
that,
is
sorry?
her number 19 Greenhole.
Oh yeah.
This is her first game back.
Oh, it's a
First game back from injury.
Yeah, I remember you
So-
saying I wasn't sure if this was her first or if she played last week, but yeah.
No, this is her first game. This is her first game back from injury.
Yeah,
So,
gotcha.
and the reason for the abbreviated names, very happy for you to use them, like for MJ, for Madeline John.
Bye. Let me know if you come.
And
You know what?
Otherwise, enjoy your day.
Those two related to
no,
Time is it?
2:20.
Lockton Tron. What's the guy that plays in the men's team?
I can find out for you.
Oh no, it's just you know.
Curious?
Yeah. I won't mention on the stream
Yeah,
anything.
no.
but
Yeah, I better go and do my job now.
Thank you for sorting out the pronunciation. So I went Bassy and then I went, oh, it
No,
might be
I
Bass.
think for like,
Is it Bass, is it?
yeah, Bassy.
Bassy, it's Bassy.
Oh, it is
Yeah, it's Bassy.
Bassy.
Because I think
yeah.
last time we went to Bass. But anyway.
And then halfway through we changed it to Bassy.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Huh? No.
Is it that bad?
Megan said he does. Megan said he does good coffees and hot chocolates, but just the poor guy being on his own, the weight is
To welcome you back here to Tormore Reserve for your Deakin University Senior Women's Match of the Round, a Premier Division encounter here again as we are. The scoreboard reads Boronia 2-12 to Vermont 2-3-15. The Eagles with a bit of surprising territory dominance early on in that quarter, and I should say late on in that quarter, and got some late goals to make them look a lot better as Kate Green's on the boundary line with Chris Clark of the Vermont Football Club.
Chris Clark, we're actually really impressed with your aggression in that first quarter, particularly your forwards in keeping it down in your end. And a standout for me in particular was number 16, Curfy.
Yeah, so we'd spoken to the girls about making sure we play that open forward line structure. Obviously, number 21, I forgot the name for them, he's an absolute gun who absolutely fills that space.
Smidley,
that's right. Yeah, absolutely. I should know her name. I know exactly who she is. And she was owning that area. And so we'd said, make sure we're not kicking it to her, make sure we're kicking it away from where she is. And so the girls were really determined in making sure we get multiple attempts at the goal from our forward 50 entry. So, yeah, we're very happy with what they did.
You definitely got, pay for effort with those last two goals.
Yeah, no, and Maddie Clark, who actually kicked 2 goals, 1 in that quarter, was actually her first senior game for us today. Like we've been talking about in the pre-match, we're speaking about getting those girls who have played some really good reserve grade football, the confidence to come up and now play some really good senior grade football. So we're very happy with how they've gone so far in the first.
Thank you. All the best for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. Well done.
It's very interesting. So Madison Clark, 2 goals on the day, 2 goals, 1 as we heard, so outscoring Boronia herself. And on debut for the senior side here is, I believe that's Ackland winning the footy and then going forward, and Schmidli provided a spoil, but it's the Eagles who have a chance to go forward once more and get the ball inside 50. They go laterally with a handball. Now look forward with the kick. It's a 1v1 contest and a well-taken mark there. So the Eagles will have a shot on goal. I believe that's a Madison Bazzano, who's got 7 for the season. And we'll look to add her 8th, kicking from maybe 38 metres out on a slight angle. As the pack forming on the line as the kick's on its way. It will drop just short of the top of the square. Plenty of flyers. And the one that flew the best was Annie Chamberlain, who takes the mark at the front of the pack at the top of the square. And will now waltz in and, as routinely as you like, kick her first of the day, get Vermont's 3rd. And here come the Eagles. Excellent stuff from Vermont there as they open up what is now a 9-point lead as you go boundary shot to Kate Green.
Just here with Shan Bunker. Ouch.
Yeah, not a good start to the quarter, so pretty disappointing. I think we just got to be better defensively, I think. Yeah.
You were very, very quick off the mark to get those 2 first early goals in the first few minutes of the quarter. I've got to commend your defence. They've been under the pump this quarter. What was the message for the girls for this quarter and moving forward for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I mean, they've been under the pump, but they've probably just got to be better at, if you don't win the footy, being able to halve the contest. I think when the ball goes to ground, when we don't win it, we're just letting them come away with it, and that's how they're getting those shots on goal. So, again, another example down there, they win the ground ball, get it deep, and we don't compete. So, a bit of work to be done there, but we know that when we get the footy, the attack's pretty good. So, just fix up that part of the game, and we'll be good to go.
Just a little bit of a wobble.
That's it. Yeah.
All the best for this quarter and the rest of the game, Sean.
Cheers. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you to Kate Green there, doing an excellent job on the boundary as we have another score from across Premier Division as it's the Whitehorse Ponies fighting back at home. Have kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes against Park Orchards to cut that deficit down to 1 point. As I believe that's Coney looking to bring the ball out of the stoppage for Boronia and takes a great amount of territory with the kick. It almost got out the back, but it's a well-taken intercept mark there from the Eagles. So they have a chance to reset and repel. as they do so now, playing on, getting on the right boot. It was off hands, couldn't quite take it cleanly. Chelsea pays around the footy for the Eagles, looks in board with a handball, finds a target. Now thrown on the left boot, it's a spiralling kick off the hands of Schmidley, couldn't quite take it cleanly. Now into the forward 50 of the Eagles, but it's Boronia that repel. A dumping, clearing kick out, bounces off Lucy McClellan, who couldn't quite take it cleanly. It's a scrappy ball there, anyone to be won at the moment, as it's through the hands of Bianca Clark for Vermont, and now they go backwards to go forward. A kick around the corner, a snap, just gets it forward a bit more. Now Bianca Clark in pursuit once again. It's a 2v1 favouring the Eagles. The one for Boronia was Caffell, and did brilliantly to bring it to ground and make a contest of it. And we have a ball up just inside the boundary line now. So an awful lot of back and forth footy to start this second term, which makes for great viewing, which we can't complain at all. Here is Claire Smith, does brilliantly in the ruck, and now the ball ends up with Dean, where kick came off the outside of her boot, didn't quite get it cleanly, as wrapped up in a tackle. Now is Jess Elder, who's been brilliant, the vice-captain to start this second term, as Dean's wrapped up in a tackle once more. So we'll have another ball up just in front of us, true centre wing here, as the rucks go wider, two-handed tough, and Claire Smith gets it to Coney, now out to Angelina Tecasio, gets it on the right boot, was nearly spoiled but wasn't. It's out to a pack now, 3v1 in favour of the Eagles, and it's going to come out, not quite a last touch rule, as it was spoiled over the line. So we'll have another ball up just inside the boundary line. So a lot of stop-start, a lot of, it's not quite cagey, but there's a lot of scrapping and a lot of fighting so far in this encounter, as the ball will go up again. Claire Smith wins it in the ruck. It was off the body of Burkett. Still scrappy footy. No one really yet to be won. Applying the pressure was Madeline Johns. Now looking to bring it out was Torcasio of the Hawks. Her handball finds a purple jumper, which wasn't what she wanted, as it's now in the hands of Emily Patterson. Molly Patterson, I should say, apologies. She looks forward, and now it's to Chelsea Pay. Schmidley wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpire will call for it again. So bit of territory here, bit of territory there for either team, as Smith wins the double-handed tap down once more. Coney had it, dropped it in the tackle by Bianca Clark, and Clark was pinned for holding the ball, so, or holding the man, I should say. So Coney now looks forward, takes a great amount of territory with the kick. Underneath it was Perrott, couldn't quite bounce for her. Doing the work at ground level was Elder, but she was caught for holding the ball. So free kick goes the way of Torcasio, who's got a spare player just to her right in Paige Dean. I'm not sure if she sees her, but we'll look to go inboard instead. Looks to the middle of the 50. It's off hands. Couldn't quite take the mark with a Boronia player. Looking to tap it out now to the advantage. Still a lot of scrappy work in there to be done. Molly Patterson gets a handball out. Ball ends up in the hands of Boronia's Vikov. As now around the footy is Phillips, and no real winner of the Sharon just yet, as it's dropped, and still a lot of scrap there. Bodies dropping around the footy. No one's able to bring it out. And we'll have another ball up. So it's Vermont by 9 still out here at Tormore Reserve, as we are just about 6.5 minutes gone in this second term, which has been a brilliant quarter of footy, as a push in the back free kick awarded to Vermont. And as we wait for the footy to come back, will be Oscar Ludke to take us away.
Has to be said as well, Coach Chris Clark for Vermont looking pretty schmick with that bucket hat on.
He does paint quite a figure, doesn't he?
Oh, have a look at the shoes as well. It's absolutely immaculate stuff. Really impressed.
Colour coordinated.
Oh, colour coordinated. He's got the yellow shoes, the yellow hat. Looks like he should be at an NBA game. So Vermont looking to send this outside of defensive 50. Intercepted by Clara Vikov. And in the end, it'll be a ball up from the umpire after it goes out of bounds on this far side. 12 minutes and 46 to play in this second quarter. 2 straight 12 Boronia to Vermont, 3-3, 21 leading. As this is picked off, and a chance now for Boronia to head inside 50. Able to get the hands out to Johns, and now streaming through. Couldn't quite catch it to Ocasio, and then ball comes up to this far wing, dead centre, and wrapped up, so ball up on the far side. And we've got a whistle. And it will go the way of Vermont. So Ashley Ackland moves it on. Almost picked off there by Schmidley. She's wrapped up.
Just quickly, an interesting score from Division 1. East Ringwood hosting Knox 2-12. Currently up against Knox 1-8. That's second worst for second best on the ladder, which is one to keep an eye on for sure.
Could be something big brewing there. And Schmidley once again.
She's such a powerhouse down in that back line.
Yeah, she's been awesome in defence for Boronia today as she sends it up towards the wing. They send it back down. Running away with it is Wellington. Now Coney stepping around and moving the kick on up the corridor. Ball comes out now and it's smashed forward on the boot in the direction of Clark. Able to pick it up. Freeman, but couldn't quite. Now Boronia able to move this again. A great smother there. Sent forward off the boot of Ackland. Inside forward 50. Boronia's defence once again holding up well. Came out off the side of the boot. Might work in favour though for Burkett, who runs around. So straight through the middle of the ground. Coney sends it forward. And a great mark there.
Bassie.
Absolutely awesome mark from Bassie there as Boronia looked ahead inside 50, wrapped up. So stoppage.
Elsewhere in Premier Division, Park Orchards have looked to start to steady the ship as they get back out to an 8-point lead against Whitehorse.
Vermont escaping again and heading through the middle of the ground. Coming onto it was Freeman, who sent it out chasing the footy though. A 3 Boronia players, or 4 rather, able to get it out to Cahill. Now sends it out wide, so looking to use the wing now. Tackled, tried to get the handball off to Dane, but a great tackle there from Alder. And it will be a ball up from the umpire directly in front of us here. And free kick there. So it will go the way of Vermont. I will look up the line. Dean under it. Takes a mark quite comfortably. 9 minutes left to play. Vermont leading 21-12. Sent up the line here. Trying to break through the pack there is Waddingham. And once again, Schmidley, who looks up. Out the back, called to play on is Waddingham. Ball spills. Chance for Boronia. Sends it on the boot, rolling towards goal. Falls away to the right-hand side for a minor score.
Was Vickhoff.
Vickhoff there.
One of your personal favourites, Kate?
Look, I have to say both sides have got so many players that, you know, are definitely in contention. You know, what are we not coming up to halfway in this second quarter for best on ground? It's going to be a hard job, guys.
Alder takes a couple of bounces and sends this up to the wing. Trying to break through there and get the handball off. Clark couldn't quite grab it though. And free kick given away to Boronia. Clark saying there she moved off, but umpire thought otherwise, so sent up the line by Phillips. Ball spills out to Patterson, and a big tackle laid there, and a big call from the umpire, so free kick in the direction of Vermont, and picked off. Great stuff there.
So the ball brought in shortly just in front of us here. True centre wingers. Still Vermont by 8 points at this stage. So the Eagles doing very well at the moment looking to cause an upset. It was Ackland winning the ruck contest. Now bursting away, kick went high from Madeline Johns, and it dropped into the hands of a teammate in Chelsea Pay, who was pressured by opponents everywhere. And the kick was a bit rushed as around the footy now as plenty of players looking to bring it out. Number 42, Sunday Dodgel for the Vermont Eagles, as still no real winner of the footy, but bursting out is Bassie's. Dropped a bit deeper to help her team win the ball. And now Takacio has the ball in hand, steps inside, gets it to a teammate, chased down, somehow slipped the tackle, and Delta Greenarg as his body's around the footy now and will have a ball up. So it's a good tackle, but a good bit of evasion from Delta Greenhalgu. It's her first game back from injuries. She returns as Cleo Smith's in the ruck, has the footy in hand, was tackled by her opponent. The umpire will call for another ball up.
I have to say, both these teams are very evenly matched. I'm really enjoying this game.
So am I, Kate. And I have to say, I wasn't particularly expecting a defensive masterclass from both teams today, but they've both defended brilliantly here. As you can see, it's been a highly entertaining game, but only 5 goals combined in it at the moment. As it's Steph Phillips who's had a brilliant start to this game, getting it on the right boot, sending it forward. Smith's around the footy, so too is Samantha Mellis, who's looking to pick it up, can't quite do so cleanly, and the ball's out for thrust over the line. So we'll have another ball up in the middle. In the middle, so we're just inside the boundary line as the rucks will go at it once more. It was Ackland winning the tap down. Phillips with the footy, gets it over the top, looking for a teammate in Alicia Parrott. Parrott picks it up now, looks to slip a tackle, somehow got the handball off the hands. Touch from Madeline Johns. Now looking to bring it out by any means possible with the Eagles. Looking to get it into the centre. They do so through Milky, and now look forward from Molly Patterson, and now the footy's hit some green grass, and it's anyone's ball at the moment. Boronia defender leading up left of marker and got the handball off, did brilliantly. Phillips, handball back out wide, still looking to get it to a teammate now. It's Paige Dean with the footy, picked it up, maybe caught one high, umpire agrees. So a chance for everyone to catch their breaths as we go boundary side to Kate Green.
That was definitely a foot race to that ball.
Well, it was anyone's to win, and Boronia got there. So Dean finds a teammate as she can assess her options now on the far side wing, and looks to take territory with a kick, drops into the waiting hands of, I believe, Torcasio, who will look forward once more. The kick will just fall short of the 50. 2 hands on it from a Vermont defender. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. That was Molly Patterson. It must be said, her and Jess Elder have really stepped up their intensity and really started to take this game away from Boronia in the second quarter. As the ball's up again, rucks cancel each other out. I think that's Patterson with a kick forward once more. Picking it up was a teammate in Madison Freeman, who looks to go forward now. Boronia with the numbers back, but if they can get it out to the far side here, Vermont, they might be on, as wrapped up in a brilliant tackle there by Alexandra Caffel. And we'll have another ball up, more or less where we started in the middle. As Lily Grace Morrell for Boronia, and there was Alicia Parrott applying a tackle, and she's given away a free kick in doing so from the back. So Vermont a chance to go forward now, maybe get another score on the ball. They'll definitely hurt the Hawks as they got one late in the first quarter. Looking to replicate that, but it's up Boronia's end now. Around the footy was Greenhalgh, looking to pick it up, was pressured well and tackled in the end. So just ticking past 3 minutes to play in this first half.
So Vermont leading 3-3, 21, 2-2, 1, 13 Boronia at Tormore Reserve. And now breaking away was Phillips, trying to send it inside. Able to trap it and spins around, chucks on the boot, inside 50. Vermont able to escape again. It's Meehan, and then it is turned over, and Boronia kick a goal, and now a chance for them to come back. It's Parrott who kicked that one. And awesome stuff there, but not so good from Vermont to turn that over there, Kate. What do you think of that goal?
Oh, absolutely. Never underestimate Boronia, but then again, you don't underestimate Vermont, as we're seeing. And a 2-point game, and we've got, what, just under 2 minutes to play. it's a brilliant game. That's all I can say. It's a brilliant game.
This is awesome footy here as the ball comes back down. And wrapped up here. About a minute and a half left here to play at Tormore Reserve before half-time. And it's now Boronia still trailing by Vermont. 3-1-19 to 3-3-21. We've got a whistle there.
Andrew.
Kate Green, boundary side.
In the back, was awarded for in the back.
So push in the back, and now it's sent Schmidley there again. Able to get through there, and it will be a free kick in the direction of Boronia, and it will go to Steph Phillips. And goes short to Burkett, who now sends it up the line and intercepted here. So Vermont holding up well here with under a minute to play in the second, and now intercepted, so, and ran down. Bit too confident there perhaps, and Phillips tried to run away, and an absolutely brilliant run-down tackle there.
Salpetro, that was a brilliant tackle.
That was awesome. You've always got to be careful running away like that. And it will be Schmidley here with the footy, with 8 seconds left on the clock. Not much they can really do now other than send it up. And a bit of a fly at the back, couldn't quite grab it. At the back was Johns as the siren goes for half-time here at Tormore Reserve. Boronia 3-1-19, trailing Vermont 3-3-21. Chris Cordis.
So it's the Eagles by a narrow margin of 2 points so far. Goal kickers for Boronia. We have the 2 to Alicia Perrott, singles to Jenna Bassi as well. And then for Vermont, the 2 to Madison Clark, and then a single for Annie Chamberlain. As before we go, just going to take you around the grounds quickly. We have no other real update from Premier Division other than Whitehorse 2-1-13 trailing to Park Orchards 3-3-21. That's a halftime score now. Interestingly enough, a surprisingly close game, if you will, in Division 1 is out at East Ringwood Reserve. East Ringwood 2-12, now trailing to Knox 2-4-16 in a game where 5th takes on 2nd. In Division 2, it's still grim reading for Berwick at the moment as Moorabak have opened up an 80-0 lead midway through the 4th quarter. In Division 3, we have some
feeling for Berwick. I really do.
We definitely are. As in Division 3, Ferntree Gully are hosting Coldstream but find themselves down 26 points. That's 14-40. North Ringwood and South Croydon playing out a very close one. 2 points of difference out at Quamby Reserve in the Bulldogs' favour. So we cross over to Division 4. Obviously, we had the result earlier today in front of us where Vermont got over Boronia big. We'll turn to South, another score update from there as they play away to Fair Park. They're up 58-0. And then scores not yet listed for Division 5. So we will go for a quick break. When we return, Kate Green will once again have our coaches for interviews, and we'll get back to a low-scoring but brilliant and interesting game of footy ahead of us as Boronia 3-1-19 trail by 2 points to Vermont 3-3-21.
I'm loving this game. Yeah, well, we are aware of it, that's why. This is definitely 5 versus 6.
Oh, 100%.
But I'm very interested to see, Chris, the South Croydon Devils game premier.
Yeah, a lot of split tips on there.
Because what, Devils is 3rd because Park Orchards is taken 2nd.
Yeah. Park Orchards taking 2nd.
Park Orchards actually beat South Belgrade. That was correct. Yeah, and we none of us picked it. No, but and Park Orchards have only just come up this season into Premier Division, so they've really made a massive statement.
Yeah, Yeah, that's big.
So fourth is what? Fourth, South Croydon. Where are the Devils? I thought the third.
Third Park Orchard, second, and South Valley.
Yeah. And then these two.
What will it be?
So does Vermont, yeah, if Vermont think they'll jump right in the way?
Don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
We're only on
They're only
20
on 8
points.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
A lot of
if Vermont jump Boronia in this game, it sends a message that the back half of their season is a positive one. Because what are we, round 9?
10. This one's
10.
a lot of the talk around Park Orchards was what we're going to do when we felt that these players get pulled away. So now that all that's starting,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Say, Auckland City versus Boca. I'm surprised they drew.
I did put a cheeky message on WhatsApp to say that maybe Carlton should be relegated to Premier Division of the EFNL. Like just
We're
to
going to do a
teach them.
feature game.
No, well,
East Ringwood versus Carlton.
just to teach them how to, play a full 4 quarters of, being.
Well flown.
Because what's happened? They used to be so dominant, in the 80s and early 90s or 70s, 80s, 90s, now.
Same as Essendon.
Long time though.
Yeah.
It's what, 30 years?
Yeah. But they've still got a very passionate following like Essendon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're similar to Essendon. They had so much success in the
So what's
in
your
the 80s
AFL
and
team?
Hawthorn.
Fourth one?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Are you Hawks as well?
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I think half the pool team is Richmond, aren't they?
There's a fair few.
Was it Josh was Carlton, wasn't he? Yeah. And Blake?
No, Josh is Richmond.
Oh, Blake.
Guys, you need to go bump them side because we're picking up everything.
I'll cover it. That's okay.
We're picking up everything as if you are talking into the microphone. So
No, Josh was Richmond. Blake, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. Oh well. Genuine. I know, like I was going to this. Oh, that's dangerous. Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's fair. know why my mum's Carlton either. I don't think any of the sisters are Could have been that. Could have been. It would have surprised me, to be honest. Had a bit of feeling to it.
Lee's auntie, her husband's Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
The son is Baltimore and the daughter's Collingwood's.
Gee, full mix.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, it gets brutal.
I've got some guys that play soccer with their twins. One of them goes for Collingwood, the other goes for Brisbane.
Well, when
Sort yourselves it out.
when I first came down, I was told I had a good team and not knowing anything, I just said to Lee, I was a Queensland team, I was Brisbane. And for the first 3 years I was down there, that's when they had their three-peat.
It's because of you, maybe.
And I really feel for Michael Voss at the moment.
It's unfortunate things like, I wish it's not really good, but like, it's obviously not all. Like, so yeah, I know, I don't reckon that's something that I reckon if he hasn't gone already, he's going to the season.
This is one thing again that coaches can do. They can be the best coach in the world. The responsibility is to play as a coach can't be out there playing every position.
Yeah, true.
So, I better go do my job. See you soon.
Not even July now. It's not even July. Not even halfway. July not putting on
And it started off pretty warm as well.
Yes. Everything's freezing. Welcome back to your Deakin University Senior Women's Match of the Round here in our Premier Division encounter out at Tormore Reserve. The scoreboard reads Boronia 3-1-19 to Vermont 3-3-21. It's the Eagles with a somewhat surprising 2-point lead here.
Boundary.
As we go boundary side to Kate Green, who's got Shan Bunker with her.
Sean, much better quarter that one. Still very, very contested and a really great game between both teams.
Yeah, no, it's a really enjoyable game, and both teams are, showcasing their best, I think. And we were much happier with the way we sort of attacked the footy in the second half of that quarter, like just getting to the ground balls, just grinding the ball forward, defending a bit better. So all those things work. And then once we did that, we started to give ourselves some chances, and got one on the board.
What's the focus for this quarter going forward, just to try and break through that defence of Vermont?
Yeah, probably just like lowering our eyes a bit, not trying to kick down the line, so it looks like they're dropping off. So if we look short, take the ball off the line, there'll be definitely plenty of opportunities. Definitely
playing to your own game style.
Yeah, that's it. That's the idea. So it's just about got to be bold, bit brave at time to take it on. Looking forward to the girls giving it a crack.
Thanks very much and all the best.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you for that, Kate. Schmidley was caught in the tackle, and the Eagles now go deep inside their own forward 50 looking for a target, but it's rushed over the line by Annie Chamberlain, where I believe that'll be brought back in as per the last touch rule by Cuddler Schmidley of Boronia. Yes, it will. So we'll keep calling this game until Kate makes her way over to the opposite dugout to grab Chris Clark for an interview, as it's still on the edge of the forward 50 for Vermont. They could feel it. Just what is it now? A 2-point game. The next score could be, or the next goal could be very big in the course of this match, as there's 2 points of difference at quarter time, 3 points of difference at quarter time, 2 points of difference now. As it was Vermont in both of those, it's come off Schmidley, and ball might find its way out, not quite. Looking to make a contest of it. It's Tocasio with the footy, came off the hands of Smith, and now it's bumbled over the line. So we'll have a ball up just inside the boundary line.
Can we ask about the bucket hat, Kate?
I'll give you a heads up on that later. I asked him just before his pre-game interview.
As Boronia now looking to repel and clear their lines. The ball finds its way just in front of us. It was just kept in by the Hawks off the hands of Ackland, who picks it up. Looked to get on the boot. Was chased down from behind by Bassi. Now sent forward by the League Race Morello, the Hawks. It's a free forward 50, but back there doing the sweeping up is Bianca Clark, who looks to the line, and a brilliantly weighted kick finds the hands of Jasmine Milky. As she looks a bit in board, but it was cut off by Torcasio. It was a 5v1 in the favour of the Hawks, who won the footy. Just looked long, but there was no one back there in the form of a teammate. So it's Sarah Salpietro who takes a good intercept mark and looks down the line, but that kick's intercepted by Clara Vikov. So a bit of back and forth here as Kate Green has Chris Clark with her.
A very focused Chris Clark. Great quarter, that one. Defence on both teams evenly matched. Just a really great quarter, that first one. What's the message for the girls going through this quarter?
Again, it's just about playing our brand of football and having a ball. Yeah, football's fun, and we've got to make sure that we don't get too serious about this, and we've just got to enjoy what we're doing. We want to make sure we're manning up in attack so that they don't get that loose player getting the easy mark in defence. Other than that, we just want to play wide, use our foot speed, and let's kick it to open space.
Quick question from Oscar, who's new to our media team, the bucket hat.
Well, it started actually in a Matildas game. We were actually watching the Matildas at Fed Square, and it was raining, so I needed something to keep my head dry, I should say. So had a yellow bucket hat, then wore it to the first week of training, and then it's actually grown from there, and the club's actually got reversible bucket hats for everyone. So, yeah, it's started from the Matildas.
Thanks very much, Chris. All the best.
Thanks, Kate. Thank you very much.
So you heard it here first. Go get your bucket hat merch at Vermont Eagles. I might be getting one off a website soon if they have them on there. It's Emily Wellington now with the footy, but couldn't quite take it cleanly. Bringing it out was Chelsea Pay, who's grown into this game and has got it forward 2v2 in there, and it's a Boronia defence that wins out. So Boronia doing well, as both defences have been there. Schmidley's pushed a bit further up the ground. Couldn't quite take the mark cleanly, but then gets it onto the boot. Looked in the direction of Paige Dean. It was cut off by Madeline Johns, who now has to go backwards to go forward, and does so brilliantly at that. Now finds a teammate down the line in Bianca Clark, who's just going to stop and assess her options and direct a bit of traffic, pointing, telling her teammates to go forward as she looks to take territory with a kick, but falling into the hands of Steph Phillips, who takes the intercept mark. So Kate's got something for us on the boundary. Go for it, Kate.
Steph Phillips for Boronia has been excellent. She's just been there when they've really needed her to intercept.
That's exactly right, Kate. And she's just been working away almost a bit unnoticed at times, but has been doing brilliantly as the mark here is taken by Ruby Waddingham, who will look forward. It's a 1v1 in the direction of Ackland. Ackland beats the one, but then help comes in the form of number 24 in Burkett. Now around the footy is Phillips once more, and she's wrapped up in a tackle just on the edge of the Vermont forward 50. So we'll have yet another ball up here as the Rucks will go at it. Smith wins the tap, and it's picked up by Madeline Johns, who just looks to take a bit of territory, but the ball won't bounce. Kylan will go out for, would say boundary throwing, but as per the last touch rule, it will be the Hawks to bring the footy back in.
So looking up, trying to find Tocasio. And mark taken. Sent up the wing. Couldn't quite take the mark there. And dispossessed of the footy there, and high contact called after Spencer was taken down. So it will be Abby Spencer who sends it up the line, and intercepted by Steph Phillips here, who's done so well for Boronia. Been working hard all day.
Coney's been another workhorse.
Coney sends it up the line. Tries to chuck it on the boot, and now smothered very well there. Running away is Smith. Looks inside, finds a target, wasting no time. Plays on, unloads a goal, and just falls away to the left. Geez, that would have been so good.
Lily Grace Murrell, number 23, she has got a thumping boot on her, but sad that that didn't go through. That could have changed things completely.
She's got a great kick. On this far side. Vermont trying to work their way up now. Wrapped up in a good tackle, so Boronia 3-3-21 to Vermont 3-3-21. Also, we're all tied up here at Tormore Reserve in Boronia.
The scores deserve to be tied for both teams because both teams are equally matched in their forward and mid and back defence. It's just been a really great showcase of the skills from both teams.
And Darcy Meehan coming on for Vermont as well off the bench as the ball's sent in the direction of Milky. And whistle from the umpire. Didn't quite catch what that was for. Just a ball up, is it? So stoppage here in front of the scoreboard at Tormore Reserve. Able to get it down in the direction of Cuffle. Falls down into the pack and wrapped up once again on this outer side of the ground.
Full-time score from Division 2 at Moorobuck Heights Reserve. It's Moorobuck 14-12-96 over Berwick, no score.
That is huge.
I really feel for Berwick. Like, you know, congratulations to Moorobuck, but I really do feel for teams, you know, like Berwick, like Nardawating and a few others that are really struggling, but they turn up every week on the field to do their best.
Sent up the line as Vermont trying to work this forward here. Able to collect now. It's a ball along the ground in advantage. And now a pack forms. And we'll have a stoppage here.
Elsewhere in Premier Division, Whitehorse are doing well to stick with Park Orchards. 4-1-25, trails 5-3-33. That game's second versus seventh.
That's impressive.
So the Pioneers, who had a lot of injuries at the start of this season, as we heard when we saw them for our women's match of the round earlier on, I believe it was the reverse fixture actually out at Park Orchards, but
It was, and Park Orchards, I think from memory, actually run over them. So
they did.
That's very...
Whitehorse were very short-staffed on that day, but it looks like they're getting some plays back because they're sticking in games a lot more, so they're only down by 8 in that one.
Free kick given away from Vermont, and it went in the direction of Smith, and now they head up the line and Vermont try and send it back the other way. Chasing it now is Dean, able to get it off to Smith, and they link up and it's sent forward now for Boronia out the back. Couldn't quite take the mark. Vermont able to send it back up in the direction of Sal Pietro. And now strong mark taken, very back and forth here on that outer side of the ground. 9 minutes and 42 to play in the third. Sent up to Steph Phillips.
Boundary.
Kate Green, boundary side.
I would recommend for both teams, they're getting caught up just sticking to either wing or and they're not looking for loose players or players that aren't in the congested corridor. So that would be my only recommendation for both teams. Just take an extra moment or two to look for a loose player.
Sent up by Waddingham. And Vermont have this on the outer wing. Looks up, strong mark taken, wheels around, doesn't waste any time. And once again, around the footy is Schmidley. Great mark there to intercept, and chance for Vermont to go forward again. Boronia in defence, holding up once again incredibly well. Couldn't quite take the mark, Johns. Able to get the handball off. Ball comes now inside the forward 50, chasing it. Able to get to it is Denny. Picks it up. And I believe that was possibly for a throw there.
Spot on, Oscar.
So sent wide from Clark. Can't quite find a target, so ball goes out of play here, and it will be last touch rule. Nope, it won't. It will be a ball up. So, level still here with 7 minutes and 52 left in the third. We are all tied up, and it's a great game here at Tormore Reserve. Awesome footy.
I think whoever breaks this tie of 21 apiece is going to go into the next quarter with the advantage.
Now to give him a huge bit of confidence as Boronia break away now, and the kick comes towards this near wing, able to get it off to Salpietro, who sends it down. Ball rolling. Trying to break away was Wellington. She's ran down. So, free kick in the direction of Boronia here. Decides to send it out to the right. Couldn't quite find a target. Ball comes off. It was Phillips who got it out. And it's sent down by Schmidley, and now ball rolling near the boundary. Vermont able to get it moving forward again. Came in the direction of Elder. She's able to get the handball off. Kick towards goal. Looks good off the boot, it is. So Vermont break the tie, and they now lead this game.
That was shades of the first quarter, always in the Vermont forward 50 until they broke it with a goal.
So they're able to break that seal, and now they lead 27-21, Boronia trailing.
Was it Jess Elder with the goal there?
I think so.
I'm just confirming down in the Vermont coach's box.
Oh,
Thank
back
you, Kurt.
back over to the bucket hat.
Well, if it was, she's been absolutely brilliant since about, it took her a while to get into this game, but second quarter and the third quarter, she's been absolutely everywhere and has really been, especially if she's kicked that goal, a key contributor to why Vermont are 6 points up in this matchup and looking to cause the upset as bodies are dropping around the footy in the centre, and one of those around it, I believe, is Jess Elder again, who couldn't really celebrate the last goal just because she was had her hands on her knees and was just trying to get a bit more air in. She's obviously gassed from all the running she's doing, but she's doing brilliantly, and the Eagles need another quarter and a half out of her for that if they'd like to win this game. As wrapped up in the tackle is Alicia Parrott. And elsewhere in Division 3, third versus fourth, North Ringwood trailed to South Croydon by 14 points. That's 13-27.
Boundary.
As third plays fourth. Kate?
The kicker was actually Maddie Clark, so that's her third.
It was Maddie Clark, right? So another player that's been brilliant for Vermont there. Madison Clark kicks her third on debut for the senior team. Had 2 in the first term, obviously, and here's another effort on goal as it might get out the back. It will, but it will only hit the post. And now I believe that one was just Elder. So just a very, very fine margins here. It does push it out to a 2-kick game as that'll get the score to 21-28. But
I really feel that Vermont need to respond, because if they don't respond, it's going to be really hard for them coming out in that fourth quarter. So, no, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I meant Boronia.
Yep.
Boronia need to respond. Sorry, I was just looking at a sea of Boronia players.
So Schmidley brought the ball back into play. She's one of the players that might be moved around on the board, as she can play in a number of positions, but it's a well taken intercept mark there from Charlotte Jones, who just looks to take territory with the kick. It's off hands. Contesting there was Abby Spencer, so too was Steph Phillips. It's off the hands of Madison McMillan now. Bodies dropping around the footy just inside forward 50, and we'll have another ball up.
Oscar and Chris, this is definitely shades of first quarter where, Boronia came out, got too quick, and then it was all Vermont. This is just almost the first quarter over again.
That's exactly right. And we've said, that Vermont have been slow starters throughout this season, while they've built into these games terrifically. So it's very encouraging to see as there's a mark taken by Liness Cesari there, who can look inside forward 50 and would do so with the entry. The front of the pack was Steph Phillips of Boronia, now wrapped up inside the forward 50 once more. So we'll have another ball up. Maybe 35 metres out from the Vermont goal, as it's tapped by Cleo Smith, just looking to get the ball clear, but only gets it as far as Molly Patterson, who gets it on the right boot, kicks towards goal. There's a couple flying at the bottom of it. One of those is Jess Elder, who's been sent forward for a bit of a break, perhaps. Now on the right boot around the corner, couldn't quite get a clean kick off as Freya Johns, as it was spoiled. Footy hits the deck. Around it is Jasmine Coney, handballs it to herself almost, but the footy wouldn't sit up for her. Body pressure applied there. Coney now wrapping up in the tackle, and we'll have another ball up. So we're just under 2.5 minutes left to play here. As there's a whistle in the middle, free kick will be going the way of Sao Pietro, I believe. And she'll have a chance to look forward. And does so as it's out the back of the pack. There's a couple in pursuit. One of them is Aldo, who picks it up. Maybe caught one high up. I said nothing doing. Kicks and finds the target of the teammate who was playing in front. I believe that's Madison Bazzano. It is. That's why you have to be in front of your players. It's because kicks might fall short. You can get to them first. So Bazzano from a 45-degree angle, 15 metres out, will kick, and it's just snuck in, and that's a massive goal for the Eagles, as that pushes the margin out to 13 points for them. 13-point deficit now for Vermont, as Bazzano gets her first of the day to 8th for the season. And since half-time, Boronia have only managed to put up 2 behinds on the board, whereas Vermont have now got up, if the animations would come back from the scoreboard, have now put up 2 goals won. So it's Vermont taking charge of this third quarter now, as we tick over to just about a minute left to play, as Oscar Loki will bring us home.
It was Boronia who looked to be in charge, but now Vermont seem to be running away with it, and breaking through is Patterson, sending it inside. Ball comes over the top to Bazzano, who just scored before. Out the back, wrapped up. Ball up from the umpire.
Well, we said it in pre-game, didn't we? The minute we all tip one club,
it all
or tip one team to win, yeah, it means there's an upset on the cards.
But gentlemen, you can't underestimate Boronia, because in that second quarter, in the first few minutes, they came out, and in that first quarter, they came out and got 2 goals in that first few minutes. So you can never underestimate Boronia until the whistle goes.
Still plenty of time left in this game as well, as Clark sends it forward. Trying to break through is Patterson. Ball in congestion. Another ball up here. And the siren will beat us here at Tormore Reserve. So Boronia 3-3-21 to Vermont 5-4-34 here.
So it's the Eagles with a 13-point margin in their favour as we go into our final break. Goal kickers so far for today, it's for Boronia, the double to Alicia Perrott, and the single to Jenna Bassi. Not able to get a goal, anyone from Boronia in that third term. But for Vermont, it was on the other foot, I should say, as Madison Clark has 3 for the day, on debut in the senior team today, and making her claim to keep her spot as it's singles to Annie Chamberlain and Madison Bazzano, as well as just before the break, we go around the grounds, and it's Park Orchards, who are playing away from home, looking to start to kick away from the White Horse Pioneers. That's 26th place 47, a 21-point lead for the Sharks there, as they look to hold their grip on second position on the ladder, as Knox are just inching further and further away from the upset against East Ringwood, as it's 2 flat 12 plays 3-5-23, an 11-point margin there in the favour of Knox's. In Division 2, we don't have any other scores, unfortunately, apart from the full-time score from the early 10 a.m. start out at Mooroolbark Heights, as it was a Mooroolbark 96-0 over Berwick. Crossing over to Division 3, we do have scores. Thank you to those Division 3 clubs for getting all of our scores through, as it's Ferntree Gully 2-3-15, trailing by 31 points to Coldstream 7-4-46. South Croydon are looking to close the gap between them and the top 3, as they lead away from home 5-5-35 over 2-7-19, 16-point lead over North Ringwood. And we have the Eastern Devils facing Mitcham and Heathmont facing Churnside Park, which will happen later on today. As crossing into Division 4, obviously We don't have the score listed, and I don't have it memorised from the game before us, but it was Vermont winning big over Boronia, who didn't put up a score. Another team who haven't put up a score so far is Fair Park, who we yet to score against Wanturna South 10-14-74. And no score listed as Nunawanning host Bayswater. And I believe no scores listed either, unfortunately, for the Heathmont's Upper Ferntree Gully game in Division 5, as obviously as we heard in the pre-game from media manager Ryan Long. The Basin against Norwood has been postponed for another day, unfortunately, due to the circumstances surrounding the club there. So it is Boronia 3-3-21, trailing to Vermont 5-4-34. We're going to have our final quick break. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube streams. And when we return, we'll have Kate Green with interviews from both the coaches, and we'll have the last quarter of what has been an absolutely brilliant and very engaging encounter here in Premier Division, as we return shortly.
Despite the score now, still a brilliant game.
Oh, yeah.
That's because you're tall.
Every time we kick a sweep, it does my head in, honestly.
We're going to have to get you in on the tip of the season.
Oh, actually, I didn't check where we were up the last week. I might be wrong about it. Ryan 132, Blake 32, you 130, wow, so Ryan and Blake are even top. I took 12 myself. I didn't know. You took 14, so you had the best week last week. Mate, if I didn't have Josh's like 40-point buffer at the start of the season that I took over from, I would be so far gone. It's like Forest Hill. Like the bottom division is so far below. Hey, thanks. I didn't realise I played Saturday. Yeah, so I was just about to ask, I was like, I don't see anyone else here. Is that chance okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, shit, idiot.
No way you get him to jump the fence. That's a case of landing on my head.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve. Boronia trailing Vermont at home 3-3-21 to 5-4-34. And we've got a big last quarter ahead of us. And Schmidley's been so good for Boronia. And Clark, Madison Clark for the Eagles. 3 goals on debut and 2 goals in the first term as well, so awesome stuff from her as we're ready to get back underway for the final term.
Boundary
Side with Kate Green.
I'm just here with Chris Clark for the last time. great quarter from the girls. You've actually broken away on the scoreline. Anything you can tell us going into this final quarter and the positives from the quarter we just had?
Yeah, look, we know that Boronia are a good side, and we know that they want to play an open brand of footy like we do, so we love playing them. And we also know that they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us, so we've got to make sure that we weather the storm early, and hopefully we can get a goal early, and then continue to enjoy ourselves, because footy is fun, and we've got to remember, like, obviously it's a tough day for football, losing one of our family members at Basin. So we've got to make sure that we absolutely take every day as a blessing and make sure that we absolutely enjoy playing our footy.
Thanks very much, Chris, and all the best for the rest of the game and moving forward for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Kate. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff there from Chris Clark and Kate Green down there on the boundary. I don't want to go on about it too much, but I'm absolutely mesmerised by the style on display from Chris Clark.
Is he your style guru now, Oscar?
I've got to take notes. Seriously, this is just incredible stuff.
Maybe we could get Ryan, flashing some of this style too.
I want to see everyone in bucket hats next week. So, chance now. And we'll have a ball up. So, chance for Vermont to increase the lead. And Boronia trying to clear this. Wrapped up is Phillips. Sent up towards the wing. Chasing it there is Pay, who sends it back down for Vermont. Comes off hands, couldn't quite take the mark.
Boundary
Side with Kate Green.
Just here with Shan Bunker for Boronia for last time for this game. Sean, tough day at the office for that third quarter. What was the message to the girls to get them focused for this final quarter?
I think, we just outworked last quarter, so we just really wanted to put a better effort getting for more numbers to the contest so we can compete, and we're probably just disorganised around the ground, so we just needed the forwards to get up higher, to get structured and compete better. So that's probably the message moving forward. Let's get to more contests, more numbers there, and
We know not to underestimate your Boronia women's team because they do have a knack of making something out of nothing. Who should we be looking for that to occur?
I think we've swung Cad forward now, so that'll be the key one. So I think Angie, Jazz, Cad, Jenna, these will be 4 players through the mid forward that'll connect to each other and hopefully give us a chance.
Thought you might be doing that. All the best for the rest of this game and moving forward for the rest of the season, Sean.
Cheers, thanks, Kate.
Vermont able to clear this out as it rolls out of play. Great stuff once again from Kate Green on the boundary with Boronia coach Shan Bunker. And they've got a bit to do in this last term, as he alluded to there. I'll have a ball up here.
She's got a stoppage at the moment.
Yeah.
I think we heard that Kayla Schwindley got pushed forward and she went for one of the marking contests and just copped a knee to the back, I think. So
yeah,
a bit of a sore one. We hope she's all right. But
yeah, she looks to be in a bit of pain there, which isn't great.
That'll hurt all the more on a cold day.
Oh, 100%.
We hope she's okay, not only for the fact that she's a massive part of this Boronia side and it's a massive part of how this game's going to play out, of course, but it's for the fact that we don't want to see anyone get injured here in playing our footy, and obviously such a great game to be.
Schmidley's been absolutely outstanding. I think that is her.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. So she's been helped out now. She was just on her haunches for a bit, so I'm hoping that at the worst, she was just a bit winded, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as the chance for the teams to have a mini huddle, and just pretty much just came out of 3/4 time. Just a bit of a shame, but she's walking off the ground now, Kayla Schmidley, which is a good sign to see. It's obviously for however long she's off the ground, it will be a big miss for Boronia, but obviously it goes beyond that. We hope she's okay. We hope she's not injured in any capacity, and that we'll see her back today and at the very least back next week and back playing her footy. She's a massive part of this Boronia side. She's
I'll
now
keep
jogging
you
off.
updated, guys.
Thanks for that, Kate. As Schmidley's now jogging off, which she's got a bit of a grimace on her face, but that's a good sign that she's able to run off on her own merit. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on how she goes, as Vikov comes back on the ground, so we'll have a ball up on the edge of Bernie's forward 50. The next score in this game is massive, the next goal I should say. Steph Phillips is around the footy, so too is Jasmine Coney, two players that can influence this game greatly for Boronia, but one of them that's been doing that for Vermont is Bianca Clark, who gets a clearing kick, and now has the footy back in her hands as it rebounds back to her. The umpire will call for a ball up. So play will restart. Smith and Ackland in the ruck once more cancel each other up. Umpire will call for the ball up as Smith wraps up Sarah Salpietro in a tackle. As the rucks will go at it again, they nullify each other once more. Steph Phillips doing the roving. Brilliant today. Gets it to Coney. Handball left to Dean. Paige Dean gets it inside. There's some key contributors for Boronia, and they find the lead up mark from Jenna Bassi, who led up well, got in front of her player and was hit up on the lead. So a few of the Hawks' key contributors there combining. It was Steph Phillips getting it to Jasmine Coney, getting it to Paige Dean, and now inside to Jenna Bassi, who has 1 for the day. She's got 10 for the season as she kicks from a slight angle, 40 out, and the wind would just drift it right, but it's a mark taken on the goal line. It's a bit of confusion. Is it a mark? Was it rush behind? No, it is a mark. So the umpire was just coming over to make sure that the player was on the right angle. And with a smile on his face, the umpire tells us she has to pretty much stand behind the behind post. Oh, but look for a centering kick and maybe just rush it, and it was picked off by the Eagles, who look to go and use that far side wing to bring it out. It's in the hands of Darcy Meehan, who's pursued by Paige Dean, wrapped up now in a tackle by number 48, I believe, in Alicia Parrott. So
that could have been a banana kick. She could have had to go at a banana.
Bit of a check side, bit of a tuna-na as the clearing kick wide from Vermont finds the boundary line, so it will be Boronia to bring it back in through Cleo Smith. Smith, who dominated in the ruck early, but as the game has gone on, has been matched by her opponent in Ashley Ackland, which can be said for a lot of matchups across the ground. It's a dumping kick inside forward 50, took a lot of territory. Vikov gets it on the left boot, the snap around the corner. Wow. And that's a brilliant kick on the left foot.
Wow.
Did not favour a left footer at all on that angle, but from about 40 out, does brilliantly.
For someone that's just in their very first year of football, never playing before, Vikov, oh my God.
Well, that's her 5th goal of the season, Kate. And it has to be said, to be playing Premier Division at all in your first season of footy is impressive enough, but to be popping up here and there and every now and again and being a key contributor to this side is brilliant from her.
Boronia really needed that. That's going to give them a massive boost. Hopefully, Schmidley can get back on the field. I will check up on that for you guys. But, yeah, this is a game.
Thank you, Kate. So it's exactly right. Game on here at Tormore Reserve. It's 27 plays 34. It's the visitors, the Vermont Eagles, up 7 points. It's a 2-kick game now with just over 12 minutes to play. It's anyone's ball game at the moment. Silently hoping Boronia get the next goal just so we have a bit of a nail-biter finish here, but we'll see how they go as it's brought out of the middle by Madeline Johns of the Vermont Football Netball Club, and she looks to bring it out, but it's pursued by Shay Denny down there on the edge of the defensive 50 and wrapped up.
Almost taken high.
Yeah. Chris, you're showing shades of Besto there. He loves a close game.
Well, don't we all, as the rucks cancel each other out once more. It's been a fascinating run contest there between Cleo Smith and Ashley Ackland throughout today, but it's brought out now and cleared. The target was Gran Hale, but it comes off her hand, and now doing some of the dirty work as a Vermont defences. Going to ground was Jasmine Milky. And
boundary.
She was wrapped up to go boundary side to Kate Green.
Smidley is continuing under trainer assessment and management.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. We hope that she's okay, of course, as play continues here in the middle of the ground, as we'll have yet another ball up, so no distance one there. So you see the plays around this stoppage. Coney to Ocasio, Paige Dean. These are the plays that Boronia needs to step up, and Dean steps to her left, handballs it to Ocasio, but she's wrapped up in a tackle. So it's well done by Vermont to match them. And it's Bianca Clark again, who's been a silent but key contributor throughout this whole match. She's been plodding along and doing well.
Both the on-field and off-field intensity has increased. Especially in the calling box.
It's a sign of a good game as Coney has the ball now, is wrapped up in a tackle, and she's pinned for holding the ball. The umpire said she had prior, so Tabby Spencer who gets the free kick. She looks to go forward. 1v1 contest. One well lost out. Did Emily Wellington, and Vermont now have the chance to go forward further and get an entry inside 50. It's a shallow entry, but Boronia had the numbers and were playing in front. So they take an intercept mark, and as we're just about halfway through this fourth quarter, it is Vermont still with a 7-point lead.
And they really need to step up here, Boronia, but it's Vermont running through the contest and sending it down. They need to move it quickly here, and they do. Looking up to the wing, looking for Dean. She'll run onto it. 3 Vermont players there, only 2 for Boronia. Ball comes to ground. Trapping it was Elder, and we'll have a ball up here from the umpire directly in front of us.
It's just Elder since the first quarter has been absolutely everywhere.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Hopefully Schmidley is all right for Boronia. Running through is Phillips. And then ball rolls out of play as Tacazio chases that one out. So last touch rule, it will be Vermont to send it forward. Playing on and running through is Patterson, who's been good for Vermont today as well. Big intercept mark for Cuffle. And Boronia really need to use this well. Under 10 minutes to play, couldn't quite grab it. Running through is Johns. Sends it forward. Couldn't quite take the mark, wrapped up now by 2 defenders. So we'll have a stoppage here. Boronia 4-3, 27, Vermont 5-4, 34. Leading as the ball comes out and around to Patterson. So another ball up here. Rocks go at it. Ball comes to ground level. Stripped of the footy, ball comes down, picked up by Dane. She's tackled now. So a string of stoppages here in the last term. Around 8 minutes left. Tackled, couldn't quite get the footy off. And now rolling ball being chased down by Cahill. Couldn't quite pick it up. Herrett, and now it comes to the wing. And driven into the ground. And it will be, I think, a free kick possibly. Did you say what happened there, Kate?
I think it was because it was in the tackled from the back.
Looked to be in the back, yeah. So, and it will go the way of Vermont. Looks to be in a little bit of pain there, Sol Pietro. So, look to be possibly the ankle there, maybe. Walking a bit gingerly as it comes in the direction of Murrell. Definitely butchered that as it comes down.
Boronia really need this.
Big chance for Boronia. Sent forward by Greenhall. And almost an opportunity. That would have been much needed for Boronia, but a minor score. So 4-4, 28 to 5-4, 34 here.
We have a 6-point game, guys.
We've got a 6-point game, and this is getting tight here at Tormore Reserve, and it's Vermont trying to clear this and work it up the ground and intercepted. Here's a big chance for Boronia if they can send this forward. Running through, sends it towards goal. And it's Vermont able to clear it. But intercepted again, so Vermont rushing their kicks maybe a little bit too much and not able to clear it. Big chance for Boronia though. Only 1 goal down and finds a target in Smith. So a huge opportunity for Boronia here.
Is it Smith or Bazzano?
Cleo Smith.
It is Cleo Smith. And it is a big opportunity to bring this game back even closer. On a slight angle, comes in. Stays to the right side, so
Less than a one-kick game now.
less than a one-kick game, and it's close. It is very close here at Tormore Reserve.
5.5 minutes and 5 points in it.
5 points in it indeed as it comes out here. Vermont trying to break away and use the corridor. They look up the line, ball comes to ground. Pack forming around it. We will have a stoppage. And 5 minutes to play. 4-5-29. Boronia, Vermont 5-4-34. Ball to ground. And wrapped up.
Gentlemen, you know, I wouldn't mind this game ending in a draw because it's been that good.
It's been awesome viewing here. And I think we're in for a big finish and a big mark by Pay. She wheels around. Chucks on the boot, looking to find someone inside 50. Around there is Chamberlain. And in the end, ball comes out of play, so we'll have a ball up. And things get intense, especially as these stoppages keep happening. 4 minutes left on the clock. And wrapped up again.
Still a chance for a goal by either side.
So 4-5-29 plays 5-4-34 here in your Deakin University women's match of the round at Tormore Reserve. It's a 5-point game here. We've just ticked past the 4-minute mark to go in this fourth quarter as Dean was underneath the footy, copped one high. There's really a bum on the seat looking at our two dugouts here as Paige Dean's gone down as she went low to pick up the footy and was just copped the bump a bit high, which nothing with any malice in it, but just a bit of an unfortunate situation. So
yeah, looks to be in a bit of pain there.
Going to check on her, so we hope she's okay, of course.
She's holding the back of her head.
So it may just be a head knock, which we hope, of course, isn't the case. But Kate, as we take this moment, is there any further word on Schmidley? I saw she had a jacket on before. Now it's off.
They were undecided, but I think with what we're heading into 3 minutes left of the game,
We're bringing the stretcher out here.
Okay, they're protecting her head.
This isn't looking too good.
So obviously the clock keeps running, but it's not really the main concern here. Is
the main concern is the player.
We hope, of course, Paige Dean's okay. She looks to be still in a bit of strife, but looks to be getting up. So it's a good sign. Obviously, we hope she's okay. She's been brilliant today, but as with Cadler Schmidley, although it's a big loss in the terms of this game and possibly future weeks, we just hope that the players out there are okay and they recover well and they can continue playing their footy.
Yeah.
Again, big shout out to the trainers. It's the Vermont trainers that have grabbed the stretcher to take it out there if needed. I can't praise EFNL trainers at every club enough. I mean, they do a brilliant job. They work really brilliantly together. It's not an easy job, having been in that role for many, many years. But a big shout out to all our EFNL trainers. You do a brilliant job.
Yeah, well said.
All right, so Paige Dean is walking off on her own accord, which is very encouraging to see.
Good to see.
Which is very good.
To see.
So,
and just to bring back to this game as well, I think it's a free kick in the way of Boronia too for that high that was on Dean. So
it is. So 100 seconds, Boronia. What have we got? Let's turn the dial up here a bit. Let's bring this ship home.
Here we go.
A minute 30 on the clock. We've lost some time due to that injury. Thank goodness that Paige Dean's okay and it's nothing too serious at this stage that it looks like. But it's hoof forward by Emily Wellington. Massive pack forming in the middle. Both teams had the chance to get a bit of a small huddle going in that break. So let's see what they cooked up as around the footy is South Pietro for Vermont. Wrapped up in a tackle. Bit of territory taken forward by Boronia. So we're in the centre square. A minute 8 ticks by on the clock. A minute 7, we keep going. Smith up in the ruck. Ackland wins the contest. Off the hands of Madeline Johns. Wellington again around the footy. Looked to get hands out. Was wrapped up brilliantly. That's another stoppage. That favours the Eagles. Time is on their
It's
side
getting
at this
more
stage
tense.
as it's a 5-point deficit here. Smith will go up in the ruck again. This time wins the tap down. It was the Vermont Eagles to it first though, and Abby Spencer again wrapped up in the middle. Boronia need to get a handball out but can't quite do so as we enter 40 seconds to go. Ball's still in the middle. Given to the umpire now. Smith and Ackland go at it once more. Cancel each other out. Madeline Johns gets the footy in her hands and he's wrapped up. Here we are, 30 seconds to go. The Hawks need to get hands to the footy first. Otherwise, they'll have no hope here as there's Smith wrapped up in another tackle. Ball spills loose. They go backwards to go forward. Johns wins the clearance. That's a massive. It's off the hands of Shay Denny. What are we going to have here? They need to get the ball forward as it's off hands. Vermont looking to bring it back. They get it inside their forward 50. And with 13, 12 and 11 seconds left, the kick goes forward. Could it be for Vermont? Oh, and it's dribbled out from behind.
It won't matter though.
But it doesn't matter though because your Vermont Eagles are going to cause the upset win. And Vermont is going to win the football game here at Tormore Reserve. A massive upset win as the scoreboard finally reads Boronia 4-5-29, Vermont 5-5-35. The Eagles picking up just their third win of the season over a Boronia side which will be licking their wounds at the chance to close in on the top four, and that chance has gone begging. An absolutely stunning fixture out here as it has turned out at Tormore Reserve for your Deakin University Women's Match of the Round. Really great stuff. We can't commend both teams enough. In the end, it was Vermont holding on despite only scoring one behind in the fourth quarter.
Gentlemen,
Holding on for a 6-point win.
We need to make that decision best on ground.
Well, before we do that, let's go through the goal kickers quickly. So hopefully you guys have a bit of time to think about who you want to give votes to. It was 2 to Alicia Perrott in the first half, singles to Jenna Bassi and Clara Vikov for Boronia. And then on the other side of things for Vermont, it was 3 to Madison Clark on debut. Brilliant stuff from her. And then singles to Annie Chamberlain and Madison Bazzano. Somewhat disappointing that we had time wiped off the clock there, if that's the right word to use at the end of the game. But of course, we can't commend the trainers enough. Obviously, Boronia a bit unlucky with injuries laid on, and of course, a few minutes off the clock in a fixture is no price to pay for making sure the players are okay. So we're happy that all the players are okay here, but a grandstand finish. Kate, take us through your votes. Who are you thinking?
Okay, I've got one vote for Elder. I've got 2 votes for Schmidley for Boronia, but my 3 votes go to Clark, Madison from Boronia.
Oscar, who have you gone for?
Vermont.
Yeah, Clark, I reckon.
You reckon Clark? All right, I would have given the 3 votes to Jess Elder, but Madison Clark would have had my 2. So that means Madison Clark is our player of the match for this Deakin University Women's Match of the Round, as Kate goes out to grab her for a quick chat and a photo. Now we have a chance to go around the grounds. Apologies, we were all immersed in this game, which has been an absolute corker. Elsewhere around the grounds, Park Orchards have gotten over the top of the White Horse Pioneers to the tune of 24 points. Eastern Devils, South Croydon has finished, but we don't have an answer there. So in Division 1, North Ringwood beat Baldwin 41-26. That is a good win for the Saints there as they stay at the toppers. We're coming over now. We've got Madison Clark on the mic. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. I can hear you a bit, Gus. We've lost our breath a bit here going through the end of that game because it was an absolute nail bite of it. Talk us through the final few moments of that game. How did that turn out?
Oh, it was very exciting. Obviously, it's my first senior women's game. I normally play the reserves, and I thought, I've got to kick a couple of goals, but it felt really good with these girls.
Well, you mentioned it was your debut for the senior side, and what a way to do it, 3 goals for yourself. Are you looking at the coach now and saying I should be the first name on the team sheet next week?
Oh, we'll see. I don't know.
You've got a big game coming up next week, so what's the preparation like? Are you going to kick a few more goals?
Oh, I don't even know who we're playing next week.
Park Orchards at home, so second on the ladder.
Not sure if I'll play yet, but we'll see. Have a good night's sleep, I guess.
Excellent. And what do the celebrations look like for now? You go and enjoy, sing the song. What's on for the rest of the day?
Oh, I've got a CPR course at 1 o'clock, so I've got to make it to that.
So it doesn't stop. Well, no worries. Look, congratulations on the performance. Congratulations on the win. We'll let you go join the girls as they're walking off the pitch and sing the song. So enjoy the win and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
as we heard there from Madison Clark. 3 goals on debut for the senior side for the Vermont Football Club as they get over the top of 6 points. Anyway, like I was saying, in Division 1, it's North Ringwood retaining top spot with a 15-point win over Baldwin. Knox held off East Ringwood 2-1-13 to 4-8-32. And now, to give you a bit of context to this next result, in the last 2 weeks, I've tipped the Don Vale senior women's side to get their first win of the season. In the last 2 weeks, they have not. I said to media manager Ryan Long ahead of this week, I'm not tipping Don Vale for the rest of your season. With that being said, Don Vale 9-8-62, 38-point victors over Surrey Park 36-24.
Oh my
I'm
God.
trying to not kick a chair over here because I've lost my lead in the women's tipping Don Vale the last 2 weeks, and thrown that in my face.
You jinxed them.
I said, I'll read you my tipping email that I sent media manager Ryan Long ahead of this week. Okay, I said, Ryan, no more Don Vale tips, but watch them probably win this week. So there you go, a massive 38-point win. I didn't feel they were far off, but that's their first win of the season. That's brilliant for them.
Last week that you weren't going to tip them.
I said, you
said it after the women's game. I was like, oh, they're absolutely going to win.
And
they're going to win next week.
And then you followed that, like Megan just said, and we all said now you're not going to tip them. They're probably going to win. But well done to Don Vale, their first win, and well done to all of the teams today that were not only successful, but those teams that weren't successful, especially those ones that are kind of struggling near the bottom. Really big shout out to them because they never give up week in, week out. So perseverance will pay off.
It's definitely right, and whoever Don Vale's head coach is, get me in contact with them. I want to have a word. But
that's Adam Michaeletti.
Might be, but
Michelangelo.
Anyway, congratulations to Don Vale, because that's quite a way to do it against third place Surrey Park. So I'm sure I'll cop a bit of stick as I go to the men's match of the round about that later on. Anyway, we know that Moorabah got to the top of Berwick 96-0. Beaconsfield fell to a very, very strong Blackburn side this season, 7-44. No score listed for Montrose Waverley Blues, which will be quite interesting. And Kilsyth, of course, with the bye to round out Division 2. In Division 3, it was Ferntree Gully 3-3-21, falling short to Coldstream 8-6-54. North Ringwood, a close game. That one ended up to being 4-8-32, falling by 4 points to South Croydon 5-6-36. Just kicking off now is Eastern Devils hosting Mitcham, and then Heathmont against Churnside Park is, of course, later on. So with that win, South Croydon closed the gap between them and the top 3 in Division 3. As going into Division 4, we have obviously the game ahead before us as Vermont beat Boronia massively. Fair Park didn't register a score against Wanturna South. That was 10-21-81. So Fair Park may be lucky it wasn't more of a win, as we don't have scores listed for Nunawading against Bayswater, and obviously Warren Dyke. Their game is a bye this week, so they can enjoy a week off. H.E. Parker Reserve, which should have just finished up, Heathmont against Upper Ferntree Gully. No score listed just yet for that one. And obviously the Basin against Norwood postponed. So both the Basin's games postponed this weekend off the shocking news that we heard about pre-game about one of their players passing away. Of course, our thoughts from not only us in the media team, but everyone around the EFNL go out to not only their club, but the family involved and all the players involved. As Park Orchards got over the top of White Horse 8-56 to 5-2-32. And of course, South Belgrave scheduled to have the Basin. They won't play this week either. So for now, thank you very much for joining us on our YouTube streams. You're all done here from Tormore Reserve. A brilliant game here that turned out to be an absolute corker, really, and a bit of a nail-biter of a finish. If you've got nothing else for your Saturday afternoon playing, then by all means, please join us later on at H.E. Parker Reserve, or tune in on our Facebook and YouTube streams, or alternatively, Radio Eastern 98.1 FM, as we have Heathmont taking on Croydon at H.E. Parker. That is 6th versus 4th. Croydon side who have the best ranked defence in the league, taking on, of course, Heathmont, who had a head-scratchingly poor start to the season, but off a 1-5 start has started to charge some form towards the finals and are looking to take another scalp ahead of them today. So we'll be on the air and live at 1:15 p.m. doing our pre-game coverage, and then in the caller's chair for the game to start at 2:20, in which we will have, of course, our core team, a very strong core team, I have to say, joined by media manager Ryan Long down there. So we'll have a good game for you there. But for now, we're signing off. I think Kate's gone to check up on some of the players in Boronia, so I'm not sure where she... Oh, no, she's behind us. Kate, thank you for joining us. A brilliant job, as always, on the boundary.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be on the call team with you guys.
It is, of course. And Oscar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm going to go get a bucket hat if I can find one.
And, of course, I've been Christopher Cordes. It's been a pleasure to have you all with us, and a special shout-out to Kate Green, here part of LKLM Media. I have to say, today was on the back of a ute, and I have to say I'm liking the recording position, but of course LKLM Media bringing all of your match day coverage, and really without them we can't do any of this and what we love to do. So they're a massive part of our core team, although they work behind the scenes and often at times go unnoticed. So a massive shout out to them. But for now, we're going to be signing out from Tormore Reserve. Thank you for joining us in our Deakin University women's match of the round. The final score, which they've taken off the scoreboard now, but from memory, I believe, was 29-35. Was that about right? Yes. It was right. Thank you. So 29-35, Vermont with a big win by 6.